The difference between traditional procurement and a P3 is it's kind of like having a mortgage on your house, but also having all the repairs built into that contract. We won't have P3 success unless we have P3 education. Our members are the best bunch of people. They just love to help. They're so enthusiastic.
Produced by Podcast Architects.
Welcome back to another episode of The Path Forward. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Rick Fernandez, where we talk about innovation, education, and the merging of the two. I've got a very important person and guest today, Carol Todd, Director of Communications from the Association for Improvement of American Infrastructure, or fondly known as AIAI. Carol, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Very important. I do agree with that.
You see the good lead in right there. Half showbiz is just getting somebody to have a great lead in for you. So I'm trying to hook you up there.
Yeah, the check's in the post.
So let's talk about AIAI for a minute. That was a long acronym I had to memorize there. What is it that you do for them other than herding cats, and kind of how did you get there? So if you can take us to the genesis of this and where you started, and then ultimately what you do for AIAI.
So what I do for AIAI is I'm their communications director, and basically I was a stay-at-home mom first of all, I don't even come from this country. I was born in Ireland, raised on a farm, came over to the US when I was in my very young, just very young. It was a stay-at-home mom for a very long time, and then my kids got older. I decided to try and get back into the workforce, and I met a very lovely woman called Lisa who decided to offer me the job of then senior brand manager, but I got promoted. So and that was about 5 years ago, and in that time we have almost over doubled our membership, and we're going from strength to strength. We used to be just Lisa and myself, and now we have a team of 6 or 7, I believe. So we're going places.
Well, absolutely. And as a member of AIAI, and I'm fortunate to serve on several committees, the amount of bandwidth from y'all's team is really amazing. And that's kind of what I want to get into. What's the goal? What's the mission? What does the AIAI do for folks?
Right. So we educate on the P3 model and advocate for it. So advocate for it at the federal government level, local government level, but we also educate the owners, the public sector side. So our membership is comprised of the private sector side, from the companies who want to be on these public-private partnership teams. And they, like yourself, Rick, they form the committees. We create all sorts of resources, white papers and documents and panel speaking opportunities, all with the one goal in mind of just making sure that we give the public sector everything that they need to consider a P3 as a viable procurement option.
So it sounds to me, I can, no matter what I do, I can never get away from education. But the first thing you said is we educate, and we're trying to solve problems for people, and we're using our expertise to bring people together in order to solve very large scale problems. In the public sector, sometimes, they do a great job, but they're not experts in everything.
Right.
No one can be.
They couldn't be expected to be. So yeah, I mean that. P3s are very complex by nature, and to think that anyone could be expected to understand just how to do one is just, it's not feasible. So back to what you were saying about education, is that's the beauty of it. We invite the public, we encourage the public sector to come to the conferences that we support, and in doing that, we let them know, hey, there's no such thing as a stupid question. So come with that mindset, and we will be able to help you.
So Carol, for a novice that may be listening, what exactly is a P3, an alternative delivery model? Can you give us a practical example?
Practical examples, don't say that.
I know, I know. Help us with a K-12 example, right? Keep it simple for me.
So in the case of Prince George's County, for example, they had this huge need for a lot of schools, and what the P3 model was able to do was provide a bundled a bundle of schools, right, and
Right.
deliver it
Fast, quicker than we could have got
extremely
them any other
quickly.
way.
I mean, that project has gone super fast to where it is. I just saw some new photographs the other day of it, and it's so exciting to see that project actually come to reality, you know. But a lot of times, owners and the public sector are very constrained by their budgets and like their deferred maintenance is a huge problem. It's you need
Staffing.
to have what.
Their staffing. I mean, just to have the people to maintain and keep up.
So the difference between traditional procurement and a P3 is the O&M part of it, the operations and maintenance, and we've talked about it before, where it's kind of like having a mortgage on your house, but also having all the repairs built into that contract, so that you're guaranteed to have that asset at the end of the contract in as sound state as possible. So it's the, the onus is on the private part of that partnership to take care and maintain the asset. And other things that don't necessarily come into play with traditional procurement, such as risk transfer. Innovation is huge, because it's on the private sector to bring the innovation to use the best quality materials and all that, because they're going to be responsible for this asset. They just don't build it and hand it back. There's the long term care of the project as well.
So, I mean, so for like Prince George County, our friends there, is it fair to say that they would not have been able to not only build the schools that they needed, but do it in a time frame that really impacted their students in the now, right? Because I mean, I'm well aware, right? It's usually 2 years out to even get small pieces of your facilities built out, and now with all the different components of sourcing materials and construction and all of the time that's allotted to that, it rarely goes to plan. Am I fair in saying that they were able to do it on time and on budget and in a way that leveraged all of that expertise to make sure students had their buildings when it's time to go, when we need it most? This is the opening of school, so
Hmm.
obviously incredibly important.
Well, this is it, and that's crucial to a P3, is that is all contracted in. So on time.
Sure.
If you're not on time, you're going to be penalized by that. So every part of a P3 contract has clauses in it that can potentially land the private sector side in financial penalties if they don't. So it's up to them to really hold up their end of the deal and get these things done quickly. And like I said before, Prince George's County, the schools, that's just unheard of what they've done there, and it's very exciting. We're thrilled with it.
I honestly cannot wait to get down there and check them out, and I'm very excited about not only seeing the schools, because that's always great, but hearing all of the voices that were a part of it, and just the undertaking and the teamwork that was required to be able to do that. I'm very excited about
Yeah,
that project down there. So congratulations to them.
yeah.
It kind of brings up the question: is why wouldn't more public owners or public entities, why wouldn't they leverage the expertise out there, whether it be consultants, whether it be AI? What do you think causes them a little fear of saying, "Hey, I need help"? Is it just our human natures we don't want to ask, or is there anything that you learned that's like
Yeah,
all you have to do is
like
ask?
going back to what we were saying before, there's no such thing as a stupid question, but it's human nature to not want to admit that you don't know, right? But
Right.
what we've seen in encouraging the public sector to seek out that education is people come to us. We were at the convention sports entertainment facilities conference there a couple of months ago, and people were coming to us and going, I've never heard of a P3. Would it be right for my project? And that's the key. a lot of times a P3 is not going to work for their project, but at least consider it, and at least take hire advisors to let you know whether they think it's a good P3 or not. Because sometimes it's not, and that's okay. And that's why we always say a P3 is a good tool to have in your procurement toolbox, because it won't always be the panacea.
Right. Of course, but it's good to know in our state of change, because it's happening fast. Particularly the public sector is affected by, feels like, anything politically and anything legislatively that comes down the pike. You're always reacting to it. You're never ahead of it. It would be great to have more options, more bullets in the gun, so to speak, when those times happen, and really people that you trust to help guide you in that process, because we're not going to be experts at every single thing, but chances are we can put you in contact with somebody that knows it frontwards and backwards, and that you're going to trust is going to give you accurate information.
Right. And that's the beauty of our association, is that we have members from all areas of a P3, and they all have experience in P3 success. And we want to build a pipeline, right? And the only way to build a pipeline is to have successful P3 projects, and to get in there at the ground level and work with the owners. Like, we like to think of ourselves as an association as a pre-advisory advisory that where we can just go in with our members who may end up competing on the same project.
Sure.
But at this stage, at this very, very early stage, we're just going in and we're going to sit down with the owners and say, hey, show us what you got, let us know your ideas, and we will help you. And then we'll get, you can get to your RFI or RFQ stage, and then AIAI as an association backs off, because that's when our members are going to end up on teams competing against each other for the deal.
No, that's one thing that I love and I've been able to take part in, is working with other people across many different firms, and not only learning from them, but seeing it in action. And it's pretty unique, right? Because you're all kind of competing for the same, or could be competing for the same things, but you're working in a way that's just straight up selfless. I'm trying to help this entity, and whether we get the job or not, that's not the mission here. The mission is to educate and help and support and really give options to
Right.
the public sector. And that is, that speaks to me, because I've been public sector for most of my career, and to see that on this side is like, man, that's great stuff. That's just helping for the sake of giving people options and making them aware and giving them access to things that they don't have.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the different sectors that we do work with. I know the Council of Mayors is one that's coming up, but what are some other sectors and groups on the public side that we've worked with and will be working with?
Well, we'll work at state level. We'll work at local level. A lot of times it'll just be a municipality that comes up to us at a conference and says, "I've got this project. I don't know how to get it off the ground," and that's where we'll provide like in-person one-on-ones at the event. We'll do that, but then leading on from that we'll then travel to. You were with us when we went to Lafayette, for example.
Mm-hmm.
We'll then travel to and have what we call a fly-in, where we'll encourage the owners to get everyone into a room who needs to know about how to procure project through the P3 model, and we'll just provide a day of education. Really, honestly, like we provide so many different resources and opportunities for the public sector to learn that it's easy to be able to do that. And of course, it's all complementary to the public sector, because again, we won't have P3 success unless we have P3 education.
So you keep hitting on education, and to me, one of the greatest things that I haven't been a part of it, but just hearing about the certification course, right, is one thing. And this is just so intuitive to what I think we should be doing in education for the most part, is there's this problem, right? And you have this group of experts, and guess what? We're going to work together to figure out how do we come up with a solution for this need. And then we're going to market this need. We're going to kick it off, and we're going to tweak as we go. And if we do it right, it will surpass expectations, which that has done by far. The request for the certification in alternative delivery, it's now up to more than hundreds of people wanting to be a part of that. And that just speaks to not only the strength of the groups and the committees and AIAI in general, but just the want to come together and find solutions.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
Our, our our certification program has been such a success. I mean, we knew there was a need for it, but we thought it was going to take maybe a couple of years to really get established. But we so Thomas Sherman, formerly of VDOT, he runs the program. He provides the education there. Lisa likes to call him her professor. He's got like upwards of 80 people in his classes right now, and
I know.
they keep coming back. And and these are it's pretty deep dive into the whole procurement model. There's 8 modules. I think he's done 5. He's presenting some electives right now, some of which are mandatory. You have to have 2 electives and whatnot. And
Oh, now it feels like I'm getting deja vu. Like you're going through my. All right, hey, you need two years of Spanish before you can graduate, man.
yeah,
So get it
it's pretty
together.
much these are your credits, and if you get all these credits, you will
Yeah.
walk. You will graduate at the P3 conference in Dallas in 2024, and that's really what it is. That's the goal. Is we're already looking to do that. We're just
Hmm.
uh, Thomas is thrilled with how it's gone, and we all are. Obviously, it's an awful lot of work, I have to say,
Oh.
but
Oh yeah.
hopefully,
No. If I was
hopefully,
a university, I would be probably calling and saying, would you mind sharing that curriculum with us, or would you mind maybe an offshoot of some of our economics class or some of our construction management class? I don't. That's what I would be doing because it's surely taken off, and it's providing a direct benefit and to something that there's a conclusive need for. Right? It's not just we just felt like doing it. So
yeah.
um,
And the great thing about our whole program is it's not that high level academia. It's really the the boots on the ground stuff that
yeah.
regular people like you and I, well, you've got a PhD, so maybe not you.
Oh, oh,
But
trust me,
people like me.
trust me, trust me. When you said not really academia, like, yep,
Yeah. But yeah,
that's code for, hey, Rick can pass this, so you guys are good.
it's not that scary. I'm not going to understand this too highbrow level of education. It's really just the fundamentals. This is how you do it. This is going to be presented to you by people who have done it. And it's the experience, it's the real world experience of our members who are presenting this alongside Thomas, which is really invaluable. And I think it's quite a unique product.
So, where do you see this going? Do you think that this is going to continue to snowball and really bleed over into more sectors that have a need for alternative delivery, or just become kind of more of a commonplace thing where 5 years we're looking back at this and saying now everybody's using it to some form or fashion just because it's such a needed option for public?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Like, going back to what we were talking about earlier, the more people know, the more success we can have. And then they can, once they're armed with the knowledge, they can address the challenges back in their communities, such as the misrepresentation out there, with, P3s can get good press and bad press, but once the owners understand the model and can sell the model to their taxpayers, then that's where we're going to be able to actually procure this model and use it to get stuff done and get it done quickly
Right,
in
and get
all
it
in all
done.
sectors as well. Like, you're talking universities. Yeah, education is very, very good. It's a great sector for the P3 model, but we're talking transportation, transit, broadband, street. We have that project in DC.
Sustainability, I mean,
Yeah.
huge projects for sustainability.
Yep. So it's exciting, and more people are considering P3s in areas that haven't been done before.
No, it's exciting, and I know our teams across the country are have done a great job, put in a lot of work just to educate and to provide service, and that's awesome. So, if somebody wanted to reach out, or there's a listener say, I want to find out more about that. If I'm a superintendent or a mayor, where do they go? Who do they contact?
You contact me, of course. No, they really just reach out to anyone at AIAI, and we, give us your questions, and we will. If we don't know the answer, we know someone who will have the answer. I mean, we have such, like I said, we have over 100 members from all walks of a P3, like finance, developers, legal, technical, operations and maintenance, advisors. We have everyone in our organization. So, like I said, if we don't know the answer, we'll find you someone who will.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, Carol, as director of communications, give us a little insight into your day to day life. What does a week from Carol Todd look like?
Oh, so for my sins, I do all the design work. So all the PowerPoints need to come through me. And we're talking for the certification, we're talking over 100 pages. All the branding, I'm really responsible for the keeping the brand tight, and as you know, because that reflects on all aspects of the organization.
Sure.
Also, the more communications part is I oversee all the making sure all the members know all the opportunities that we have. Like we have the two exclusive member conversations. We have Mondays with Marshall McCumber, who talks about what's going on government wise, and the federal level, and whatnot. Um, then on Thursdays, we have P3's Over the Horizon, hosted by David Canary from Cork. He defers his dinner in Ireland until he delivers that, but he checks out everything, all the RFQs, all the projects that are out there. He'll let the members know, like what's out there that they should be chasing and they should be looking at, and that's hugely important for the members, that to get that insight. And what else? I guess just I make sure that everyone knows if we're going to a conference, we're looking for speakers. Like we what the beauty of our organization as well is that we really do, we want to get to know every single member. And if you're going to be enthusiastic and want to be an active part of our organization, we'll pay that back tenfold. We get to know you. We know what your strengths are. We know what you want to do. If you want to be a speaker on this panel, absolutely. If we think you fit, and you probably do, then we'll, the opportunity for visibility is huge. And as well as that, like the social media, on
Sure.
the on LinkedIn, we love to make sure that, like, Transurban and Aldridge this week are celebrating the Fredericksburg in Virginia. They opened another 10 miles of the highway. That's all over
Saw
LinkedIn.
it.
And it's great. It's so exciting that so that we can promote that as an organization, so that all our members see, hey, this is what your fellow members are doing, and just making sure that everything is out there, so that no one ever thinks that their membership is just lip service. It's really not. We work very, very hard to make sure that everyone gets what they want out of their membership, and that's different things to different people. But like to your point of the committees, there's so many people have active roles on those committees, and they're hugely important for the ultimate goal of educating the owners and the people who are going to have these projects.
No, I mean it's been really great for me, and again, the learning part for me is just, I mean, I love it, and love being a part of it. And you're 100% right. Like if you can get as much out of it as you possibly could ever want, and that's another thing that I love. The members are very much engaged, and that's a testament to your work and to the team's work. It's been very beneficial for me, and,
It's
and I
it's
know for
also a
our
testament to the people involved, though. Rick. Honestly,
sure.
that our members are the best bunch of people. They really are. They're not, they're not backward about coming forward, and they just love to help. They're so enthusiastic, and we have We have an ever increasing group of ambassadors who go the extra mile for us, as well as our wonderful board. Not just saying that because they pay me, but everyone's just so keen to have, because it works in everyone's best interest
Sure.
to promote the model and see if we can't get infrastructure done in this country.
I have to know. So if you manage the brand, give me your number one brand pet peeve when something comes your way, whether it's a presentation or something. What's the number one pet peeve?
When you stretch the logo. Don't touch my logo. Like, or you try to design your own PowerPoints. We have a few amateur designers in our organization, and I have to be. So, and sometimes I'm like, you took a nice photograph. I'm going to incorporate your photograph, but
would you rather it just be just plain white with just black
plain white,
script?
don't format it, because let me tell you, on PowerPoint, there are some ways to format that I don't know how to unformat. It drives me crazy because I'm like, how did you ever get there? But yeah, plain formatting, I'll do the fancy stuff. I'll make it look beautiful, I promise. But you got to let me do that.
Just stay out of it.
People on my team are quite scared of me at this point because you don't cross me. You don't mess with that brand. I'm from Northern Ireland.
So I just got to remember that for any presentations, just which helps me tremendously because I'm sitting there like trying to watch something on YouTube of how to make it a 3D imaging, and I'm like, this is about to be a cut and paste job. It's best I can do.
You give me your words, you give me your pictures, the rest is on me.
I can do that. That's the music to my ears there. What do you enjoy most about the job?
Oh God, that's a hard one. Because there's so many different parts to my job that I really do. You get frustrated every now and again. This has been a very challenging week, but by and large, like, I love the graphics. I love doing the design work. I love the travel and meeting people and hanging out with people because, like I said, really are the best bunch of people. So there's so much that it's such a complex job. I really couldn't pinpoint one thing.
Would you be willing to take an intern at some point?
Would that intern be willing to work for me?
Hey, yeah, if they're interning for you, then they're interning for you, right?
All I can say is, like, be careful what you wish for. Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we want. We want hands-on, like no bones about it. These are the skill sets, and here's what it takes to be successful in multiple facets of business, not just what you're doing on the design side, but every other piece of it that has to come together.
That is potentially the problem with taking on an intern, is how complex the job actually is, and I think that applies to everyone in the team. Like, we don't just, we have our list, our job descriptions and whatnot,
Sure.
but we're overlapping all the time because it's such a small team for the work that we do. And it probably would be like expecting a lot of someone to, I'd have to be really kind.
That sounds like the very thing that we need.
I feel very sorry for this mystery intern already, and they don't even exist.
I mean, I think that would be the best type of internship, is just, this is reality of how agile and how diversified your skill set now needs to be.
Yeah.
Right. You cannot have just one thing you do well.
No,
you've got to have it across multiple things. So let me take you up on that at some point. Carol, thank you so much for being here on the Path Forward. And I know we'll be seeing each other soon. And I'm going to find you an intern before the next time we see each other in person. So by next November, probably.
All right. Well, just so you know, like, I will blame you so that they can come back to you and go, I don't know what you were thinking sending me to that woman.
I was preparing you. It was tough love.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, you're very welcome. It's been fun. And me, any chance to have a chat is always very welcome.
Well, that's why I asked you, because I knew you would. So thank you so much.
All right.
Produced by Podcast Architects.